Each stone orb, large and small, emerged from the earth, some only the size of a volleyball, but others more than 2 meters in diameter and weighing up to 16 tons. They were carved from granodorite, an extremely hard stone, using methods that even modern technology must admire for their roundness and the polished surface. Although many archaeological sites suggest the spheres may have appeared from around the year 600 AD to the 16th century, not a single ancient record mentions the process of their creation or their actual role in ancient society. Archaeologists believe the spheres belong to the Dequis culture, a once flourishing civilization that disappeared without a trace before the Spanish ever set foot in this land. Many different theories have been proposed to explain the existence of these stone spheres. Some people believe they were symbols of power or the cosmos, and that they were arranged according to constellations as a kind of ancient astronomical calendar. Some researchers think the spheres marked the boundaries of settlements or were objects used in religious ceremonies. Recent discoveries in excavated settlements show that, at times, the spheres were placed in front of the houses of the wealthy or chieftains to indicate their social status. However, all explanations remain speculation, as those who created the spheres left no written records or ancient texts behind. Over time, modern humans have unfortunately caused considerable damage to these stone spheres. In the 20th century, many spheres were moved to home gardens, parks, or even destroyed in the search for gold, as told in local legends. Only in recent decades have the Costa Rican government and UNESCO begun to recognize the world heritage value of the spheres and promote more serious efforts at conservation and research. Today, the stone spheres of Costa Rica are not only evidence of a lost ancient civilization, but also serve as a reminder of the patience, painstaking effort, and boundless creativity of people in the past. They pose great questions to both science and imagination. How could a society without metal or even the wheel create and move such enormous stones with such precision? Are these spheres simply works of art, or do they contain a message that future generations have yet to understand? Lost civilization of Doggerland. Imagine a distant time, about 10,000 years ago, when the North Sea was not an endless expanse of water, but a fertile land. That place was called Doggerland, a lost world that once connected England to continental Europe, a land so beautiful that many people have called it the Atlantis of Europe. Then, in a terrifying event, the sea levels rose and a massive tsunami swallowed everything, leaving behind only vague stories beneath the ocean floor. Doggerland stretched from what is now Scotland to the Netherlands, a vast region of green meadows, winding rivers, dense forests, and flooded marshlands, named after Doggerbank, a sandbank beneath the North Sea. This land was once a paradise for Mesolithic hunter-gatherers. They hunted mammoths, reindeer, and red deer, fished in lakes, and foraged for berries and chestnuts. But what happened to this beautiful land? When the last ice age ended about 10,000 BC, melting ice caused sea levels to rise, gradually encroaching on the lowlands of Doggerland. Around 8,200 years ago, a giant tsunami triggered by the Storegga submarine landslide off the coast of Norway submerged Doggerland underwater. Some researchers believe that the northern regions of Doggerland may have survived for several more centuries thanks to the protection of hills and forests. But by 5,500 BC, the North Sea had swallowed all the remaining high ground. The mystery of Doggerland has captivated both archaeologists and dreamers alike. Was this sunken land the Atlantis that the philosopher Plato described? Although this theory is controversial, Doggerland's vast plains are very similar to those in the legends of a lost civilization. Others see Doggerland as a warning, reminding us of the power of nature and the threat of climate change. Countless artifacts, mammoth tusks, flint tools, even fossilized footprints have been pulled up from the bottom of the North Sea, each one like a faint glimmer from a vanished world. In 2019, researchers discovered a submerged forest here, fueling hope of finding settlements preserved beneath the mud. But despite all the discoveries, no clear traces of Doggerland's villages or cities have yet been found. For centuries, Doggerland was forgotten, known only when 19th century fishermen began hauling strange relics from the sea. Today, archaeologists use seismic data from oil companies to redraw the map of this land, while amateur treasure hunters scour Dutch beaches in search of fossils and tools. But the more that is discovered, the more questions arise. Was Doggerland merely a land bridge? Or was it once a center of culture and trade in Mesolithic Europe? And what lesson does its disappearance hold for us as rising sea levels threaten today's coastal cities? The story of Doggerland is not just about a lost land. It is a haunting reminder of humanity's fragility before the forces of nature, and a challenge to uncover the secrets that still lie hidden beneath the North Sea. Unfinished obelisk of Aswan. More than 3,500 years ago, in the fiery red granite quarries beside the Nile, the ancient Egyptians embarked on an ambitious mission to create a gigantic obelisk larger than any monument ever raised. But before this masterpiece could be completed, a mysterious crack forced it to be abandoned in the quarry, where it remains to this day. How could the ancients carve such a massive block of stone with only primitive tools? And why did they abandon such an ambitious project? Located in the northern quarry of Aswan, about 2 kilometers from the city center, the unfinished obelisk is the remnant of extraordinary ambition. It is believed to have been commissioned by Queen Hatshepsut during the 18th dynasty for placement at the Karnak Temple. If completed, this obelisk would have stood 41.75 meters tall, twice the height of standard obelisks like those at Karnak, and weighed about 1,200 tons, equivalent to 200 African elephants, carved directly from the red granite, the famous hard stone of Aswan. The obelisk has 3 faces already finished, with smooth and precise lines. What makes this obelisk special are the clues it leaves behind about how the Egyptians carved and transported such enormous stones. Archaeologists have discovered that they used dolerite balls to pound and smooth the surfaces. To separate the obelisk from the bedrock, they drilled small holes along the cutting line and inserted dry wooden wedges, then poured water to make the wood expand and crack the stone along the intended path. A 2005 discovery at the Aswan Quarry even found an unfinished obelisk base and rock carvings, suggesting this was the birthplace of many famous obelisks, such as Cleopatra's Needle in London and blocks used for the Giza pyramids. But why was this project abandoned? According to records, a major crack appeared in the granite, causing the stoneworkers to give up the endeavor. But the story does not end with a single crack. Some scholars believe the crack may have resulted from quarrying errors, or perhaps the granite in this area had natural flaws. However, bolder theories have surfaced. The obelisk may be connected to a catastrophic event, such as an earthquake or a major social disruption during Hatshepsut's reign. Some even speculate that this monument is the remnant of a more advanced civilization, with obelisks serving as space antennas linked to the constellations. While there is no scientific evidence for this, such ideas continue to circulate, especially as archaeologists have noted that the obelisk was designed to resemble the Ben-Ben, the primordial mound in Egyptian creation mythology, where the sun god Atum stood to create the world. Another mystery is the scale of the project. With a weight of 1,200 tons, this obelisk would have been the largest stone ever handled by the Egyptians. How did they plan to transport it over 200 kilometers to Karnak, when the boats on the Nile could hardly bear such weight? Records suggest they used wooden rafts and took advantage of the summer floods to move the stone, but there are no specific accounts for this particular obelisk. Some scholars believe Hatshepsut's ambition may have surpassed the technical capabilities of her time. Yet, the fact that 3 sides of the obelisk were nearly finished shows they came very close to success before the crack appeared. Was there something else, such as a curse or a political event, that brought the project to a halt? The unfinished obelisk of Aswan stands as a testament to the boldness of the ancient Egyptians, but it is also a reminder that even the greatest civilizations have their limits. Is the crack in the granite simply a sign of a technical mistake, or a warning sent by the gods? Kailasa Temple. Thousands of years ago, when humanity still knew nothing of modern machines, a miracle of architecture was carved out of solid rock in India. Kailasa Temple, hidden within the Ellora Cave Complex, is not only a monumental structure, but also a mystery that challenges everything we think we know about the capabilities of ancient people. Nestled in the Sharanandri Hills of Maharashtra, India, Kailasa Temple is the largest monolithic stone structure in the world. Unlike the Egyptian pyramids, which were built from millions of blocks stacked together, Kailasa was carved entirely from a single, massive basalt rock, its dimensions twice that of the Parthenon in Athens. The structure stands over 30 meters high, stretches 300 meters long, and spans 175 meters wide, all surrounded by a U-shaped courtyard plunging 50 meters deep. What astonishes people most is the method of construction. The craftsmen started from the mountaintop and cut downward, a technique that goes against all conventional building practices. They removed more than 400,000 tons of rock, using nothing but simple hammers and chisels, creating a temple with unbelievably intricate carvings. Every corner of Kailasa Temple is a work of art. The stone walls are covered with carvings depicting Shiva, Vishnu, and other deities. One of the most outstanding reliefs shows the demon king Ravana trying to lift Mount Kailasa, the abode of Shiva, which is considered a masterpiece of Indian art. Archaeologists have even discovered more than 30 million Sanskrit characters carved into the rock, most of which remain untranslated. Could these inscriptions be hiding a message from the past? According to historians, Kailasa Temple was built in the 8th century under the reign of King Krishna I of the Rashtrakuta dynasty. A local legend tells that the queen prayed to Shiva to cure her husband's illness and vowed to fast until she could see the temple's tower completed. To save her, an architect named Kokasa promised to finish the top of the temple within a week by starting to carve from the top down. This legend may be only folklore, but one thing is certain. The Kailasa Temple was completed at a staggering pace, in just 18 years. How could such a gigantic structure have been finished so quickly with the technology of that era? But the mystery does not end there. Some researchers believe Kailasa may be far older than we think. Could a civilization more than 1,200 years ago really achieve such a feat with only hammers and chisels? Some bold theories propose that the temple could be the product of a forgotten, advanced civilization, or even linked to technologies far beyond our understanding. Traces of drilling on the stone and almost perfectly straight cuts have led some to speculate about the involvement of alien technology. Another theory suggests that Kailasa was the result of large-scale collaboration between artisans from many different regions. Archaeologists believe that craftsmen from the Chalukya and Pallava dynasties contributed South Indian architectural styles to the project. Yet even this theory cannot explain why there are no traces of large construction tools or nearby quarry sites. Was the knowledge required to build Kailasa passed down through generations, or was it lost along with its creators? Strangely enough, Kailasa Temple was once nearly destroyed. In the 17th century, the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb ordered 1,000 men to demolish the temple. After 3 years of effort, they succeeded only in making a few scratches and destroying some small statues before giving up. The hardness of the basalt and the solidity of the structure made this attempt a complete failure. Kailasa Temple stands as a testament to human power and creativity, or perhaps to something even greater. But like many other mysteries in history, Kailasa keeps its secrets locked away, challenging us to continue searching for the truth hidden deep within the stone. Lost Library of Alexandria. Situated in the heart of Alexandria, a city founded by Alexander the Great around 330 BC, the Library of Alexandria was the intellectual center of the ancient world. Built during the reign of Ptolemy I, Soter, and reaching its height under Ptolemy II Philadelphus in the 3rd century BC, this library was part of the Maoshan, the Temple of the Muses, where the greatest scholars, poets, and scientists of the time gathered. It is estimated that the library housed between 200,000 and 700,000 papyrus scrolls, including the works of Homer, Plato, Aristotle, and countless other texts from Greece, Persia, Egypt, and India. Not merely a repository, the Maoshan was a vibrant academic community where Euclid laid the foundations of geometry, Eratosthenes calculated the circumference of the Earth with remarkable precision, and Archimedes invented creations that changed the world. But what made the Library of Alexandria truly special was not just the sheer number of books. The Ptolemaic dynasty sent people all over the world to collect manuscripts, even borrowing books from ships docking at the port to copy them before returning. The library had a team of renowned librarians, such as Aristarchus of Samothrace, who standardized the texts of Homer. The scrolls were carefully organized, translated into Greek, and stored in marble-floored rooms. Today, however, no architectural traces of the library remain, and what we know of it is pieced together only from ancient records. So what destroyed this great treasure trove of knowledge? The story of the Library of Alexandria's downfall is shrouded in legend and controversy. Many believe that a devastating fire destroyed the entire library, but the truth is far more complex. One of the first suspects is Julius Caesar. In 48 BC, during his war with Pompey, Caesar ordered the burning of Egyptian ships in the port of Alexandria. The fire spread to the shore, destroying part of the city and, according to some accounts, burning as many as 40,000 scrolls. Yet, historians such as Strabo, who visited Alexandria afterward, still describe the library as a surviving institution, suggesting it was not completely destroyed. Another theory involves the 4th century AD, when Christianity became the official religion of the Roman Empire. Emperor Theodosius I issued a decree to destroy pagan temples, including the Serapeum, a temple in Alexandria that housed a daughter library of the main library. Some even blame the Muslim conquest in 642 AD, with the story that General Amr ibn al-As burned the books to heat the city's baths. However, this account appears only in 13th century Islamic texts, leading many scholars to doubt its authenticity. Modern historians believe that the Library of Alexandria gradually declined over many centuries. From the 2nd century BC, the Ptolemaic dynasty weakened, and support for the library diminished. Wars, internal strife, and Alexandria's decline as a cultural center all contributed to the library's fall into oblivion. So what did we lose? No one knows for sure, but the decline of the Library of Alexandria is considered one of the greatest intellectual disasters in history. The works of Sappho, Euclid, or Aristotle may have been lost as unique originals. Some speculate that the library contained texts on mathematics, astronomy, or engineering that could have accelerated scientific progress if preserved. Bolder theories suggest the library held knowledge from even older civilizations, such as Babylon, or from legendary civilizations now forgotten. But some believe that many important works were copied and preserved in other libraries before the Great Library's fall. If those papyrus scrolls had survived, would we now be living in a more advanced world? Or have their secrets been passed on, hidden in other libraries, still waiting to be discovered? Roman dodecahedrons. Since their first discovery in 1739 at Aston, England, more than 130 Roman dodecahedrons have been found across northwestern Europe, from England, France, and Germany to Hungary and Switzerland. But strangely, not a single one has ever been found in the heart of Rome itself. These objects, most often made from bronze alloys, have a 12-sided regular shape, with each face being a pentagon featuring a circular hole in the center, with the size of the holes ranging from 6 millimeters to 40 millimeters. At every corner, there is a small knob protruding outward, as if each piece was meticulously cast for a special purpose. Their sizes range from as small as a golf ball to as large as a grapefruit, with weights varying from 35 grams to over 1 kilogram. What makes these dodecahedrons remarkable is the sophistication of their craftsmanship. Casting such a complex object in the 2nd to 4th centuries AD would have required advanced metallurgical skills and significant resources, suggesting that these were not ordinary items. Many dodecahedrons have been found together with hoards of coins, indicating that they held considerable value for their owners. Yet, when it comes to practical use, they do not seem to be working tools. So what exactly were they? Dozens of theories have been proposed to unravel this mystery, but none has ever been proven. One of the most popular ideas is that dodecahedrons may have been religious objects or used in rituals, especially within the Gallo-Roman culture, where Romans interacted with Celtic tribes in northern Europe. Some archaeologists believe they were used in magical or prophetic ceremonies, possibly kept secret because Roman law under Christianity banned such magical practices. The fact that a dodecahedron was discovered in the tomb of a woman in Belgium and near a horseman statue in Norton, Disney, lends further weight to this theory. Could these objects have been a medium for communication with the gods? Another theory proposes that dodecahedrons were measuring tools, perhaps used to calculate distance on the battlefield or measure the angle of sunlight for agriculture. However, the lack of standardization in the size and holes of these objects casts doubt on this explanation. The mystery deepens when considering their absence in Roman records. Not a single document or illustration ever mentions dodecahedrons. Were they so common that no one bothered to write about them? Or were they so secret that only a select few ever knew of their existence? Some researchers even speculate that they may have been related to forbidden rituals, which would explain why they appear only in the outskirts of the empire. Today, Roman dodecahedrons are scattered across museums throughout Europe, from the Lincoln Museum in England to the Gallo-Roman Museum in Belgium, each one a reminder of the secrets the Roman Empire took with it. Dead Sea Scrolls. In 1947, a Bedouin shepherd boy, while searching for a lost goat near Qumran on the West Bank, accidentally threw a stone into a cave and heard the sound of pottery breaking. Inside, he discovered clay jars containing nearly intact scrolls made of parchment and papyrus. archaeologists and Bedouins explored 11 caves near Qumran, unearthing around 981 manuscripts comprising more than 25,000 fragments, representing 800 original works. These scrolls date from the 3rd century BC to the 1st century AD, making them the oldest known copies of the Hebrew Bible and other religious texts ever discovered. The Dead Sea Scrolls include two main categories. About 40% are biblical manuscripts containing nearly every book of the Hebrew Bible. The remainder are non-biblical texts, including 30% sectarian writings such as the Community Rule, the War Scroll, and commentaries on the Book of Habakkuk, along with 30% documents from the Second Temple period, such as the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees. One of the strangest manuscripts is the Copper Scroll, which lists 64 locations of hidden gold and silver. But who created these scrolls, and why were they hidden? Many scholars believe they were the product of the Essenes, a Jewish sect living an austere life near Qumran. However, some argue that the scrolls may be a collection from Jerusalem's libraries, hidden in the caves to protect them from destruction during the Jewish revolt against Rome. This revolt led to the destruction of the Second Temple, and perhaps the scrolls were concealed to safeguard sacred knowledge from falling into enemy hands. What makes the Dead Sea Scrolls truly remarkable is how they challenge our understanding of the Bible. Before their discovery, the oldest known copy of the Hebrew Bible was the Leningrad Codex from 1008 AD. The scrolls are 1,000 years older, revealing a striking similarity to the later Masoretic text, confirming the care with which Jewish scribes preserved the scriptures. But the mystery does not end there. Some bold theories suggest the scrolls may contain forbidden secrets, teachings, or prophecies that religious leaders of the time deemed dangerous. Some have even speculated that the scrolls may be connected to the secret doctrines of Jewish sects, possibly influencing early Christian followers, such as John the Baptist, whose purification rites resemble those of the Essenes. Another question is why the scrolls were hidden in sealed jars. Were they protected from war, or did they represent teachings intended only for a chosen few? There are no contemporary records explaining the reason, and the caves contain no tools or traces of daily life. It is possible that this act of concealment was related to the Jewish practice of Geniza, in which sacred but worn texts were buried to avoid desecration. Moving stones of Death Valley. Deep within the barren heart of Death Valley, a strange phenomenon has puzzled the world for more than a century. On the cracked, dry surface of Racetrack Playa, silent stones glide across the ground, leaving behind long trails as if they possessed a life of their own. No one has ever seen them move, yet the winding marks in the parched mud are undeniable proof. Racetrack Playa, dried lake bed straddling the border of California and Nevada within Death Valley National Park, is the stage for the mystery of the walking stones. Some rocks leave straight tracks. Others carve sharp curves or suddenly change direction, as though guided by an invisible hand. Even more mysterious, not all stones move at the same time. Some remain perfectly still for decades before suddenly shifting. In 2011, a research team led by Richard Norris and Jim Norris set out to unravel this enigma. They placed GPS trackers on 15 stones, installed a weather station, and set up time-lapse cameras across Racetrack Playa. The team expected to wait 5 or 10 years for results. Yet, just 2 years later, in December 2013, they witnessed more than 60 stones sliding across the playa, carving fresh tracks right before their eyes. The researchers discovered that the movement of the stones required a rare sequence of conditions. Rain must fall, pooling into a shallow layer of water about 7 to 10 centimeters deep, but never so deep that it submerges the stones. At night, temperatures plunge below freezing, forming a delicate layer of ice, just 3 to 6 millimeters thick, what the team called window pane ice. When the sun rises, the ice on the surface begins to melt, helping to nudge the stones forward. During the winter of 2013-2014, one rock was recorded, traveling 224 meters, and these trails can last 3 or 4 years before the weather erases them completely. This theory ruled out earlier ideas, such as hurricane-force winds reaching 150 kilometers per hour, or slick mats of algae. It also dismissed the more outlandish theories, Earth's magnetic fields, magic, and even extraterrestrials. Yet, even though the main mystery has been solved, some questions remain. Why don't all the stones move at once? Can the largest rocks, weighing up to 320 kilograms, travel in the same way? Racetrack Playa is a reminder that nature can still create wonders. But have we truly understood everything about these walking stones? Lost Labyrinth of Egypt. More than 2,500 years ago, an ancient Greek historian stood before a wonder he described as surpassing even Egypt's Great Pyramids. He spoke of a colossal underground system with thousands of rooms, covered in hieroglyphs and murals, buried beneath the desert sands. This was the Hawara Labyrinth. Yet the labyrinth vanished from human sight, slipping into legend, doubted as mere fiction. Then, in 2008, as archaeologists excavated near the Pyramid of Hawara, a labyrinth revealed itself before their eyes. Was this the legendary maze? Located in the Fayum Oasis, about 90 kilometers south of Cairo, the Hawara Labyrinth is believed to lie near the pyramid of Pharaoh Amenemhat III, the last powerful king of Egypt's 12th dynasty. According to the historian Herodotus, who claimed to have witnessed it with his own eyes in the 5th century BCE, the labyrinth was a two-level structure with nearly 3,000 rooms and 1,500 below. He described 12 roofed courts, 6 to the north and 6 to the south, with winding passages, connecting rooms, corridors, and exquisitely carved pillars. The walls were covered in hieroglyphs and paintings, each courtyard encircled by flawlessly joined white stone columns. Herodotus wrote, "If all the works of the Greeks were put together, they would not equal this labyrinth in labor and expense." But he was not the only one to see it. Ancient historians like Strabo, Diodorus, Siculus, and Manetho also mentioned a colossal structure at Hawara, with some claiming to have explored it themselves. Strangely, the Egyptians did not call it a labyrinth. To them, it may have been a vast funerary complex designed to protect kings and sacred crocodiles. Herodotus recounted that the keeper refused to show him the underground chambers, saying they contained the tombs of the kings who built the labyrinth and the remains of holy crocodiles. The entire complex was surrounded by a wall 385 meters long and 158 meters wide, larger than both the Karnak and Luxor temples combined. Yet the mystery did not end with its discovery. After the 2008 find, Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities ordered that the results remain unpublished, citing reasons of national security. Researcher Louis de Cordier, head of the Mataha Group, waited 2 years for permission to go public, but received no response. In the end, he created a website to share the discovery with the world. Since then, no major excavations have taken place, and access to Hawara remains tightly restricted. Why would a discovery capable of rewriting history be kept secret? Could this labyrinth conceal secrets authorities do not want revealed? One theory suggests that the Hawara Labyrinth was a funerary complex built to protect the tomb of Amenemhat III and his daughter. Historians believe it could contain treasures, artifacts, and texts revealing the secrets of ancient civilization's 7 cultures that predate recorded history. Some ancient documents claim the labyrinth was designed to confuse and protect the tomb from robbers. But there are also doubts that the labyrinth was as grand as Herodotus described. Some scholars believe ancient historians like Pliny exaggerated or relied on inaccurate sources, or may have never seen the structure themselves. Furthermore, over thousands of years, the Fayum region has been altered by flooding and stone quarrying, which may have destroyed or buried much of the labyrinth beneath Nile mud. Today, the Hawara Labyrinth remains an unsolved riddle. Even though radar has confirmed the existence of underground chambers, no one is permitted to enter and explore. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. If you found these mysteries fascinating, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming journeys. See you in the next video.